All right, y'all. Hello. So, I am an artist. I'm 33 years old, and I am making this channel to assist creatives on the spiritual journey, manifesting things in the world. So that could be any creative. You could be a teacher. You could be a doctor, surgeon. I don't know. You could be a witch. You could be a healer, a painter, sculptor. You could have your own business. All of it applies to this creating in the 3D from the spiritual level. So that's why I'm here, and this is why I am creating this channel. I am a professional artist, and I have my artwork in several luxury hotels around the world. So some in Florida and Bermuda. And it's, I just really started, and it's evolving, and I have a lot of downloads. I have a lot of wisdom that I want to place and continue to share to help people. So that's why this is here, and this is why I'm creating this. So I'm praying this meets the best people for these messages, and that I have something of value to share to you all in relation to my own journey. I've gained a lot of wisdom. Yeah, so today we'll just start off with like the first kind of section of what is coming through. And you could be an individual that is trying to navigate a lot of creative energy in your life. So that could be emotional, watery energy, things that aren't yet solid. So as we are manifesting things in the physical world, they start to drop at an emotional level that's very fluid before they transmute into like solid objects. So as a creative creating in the world, if you're on the spiritual plane connected to that, bringing that down, you kind of have to like move through that process of like, I'm seeing like a lot of limitations. I'm seeing a lot of worrying if it's going to happen. Those are the emotional levels. This is all why it's being filtered in through to the emotional level. So, what Spirit's showing me is like, you can use tarot, you can use different modalities to kind of, I'm seeing like actually manifest this energy into something tangible. There's something about cards and tarot that helps to kind of collect the energy and turn it into something structural. So if you don't have a tarot deck or oracle deck, go ahead and go out and buy one, or ask a friend to gift one to you to help you in navigating these creative waters. So Spirit shows us creators, when we're on the spiritual level, bringing it down to manifest it in the 3D as kind of a captain of a ship. We're navigating the waters. So the better that you can navigate, the more you can gain and kind of carve out in these emotional collective avenues. So when you're wanting to create something big, you're working with a lot of collective consciousness energy, because by doing that, you're kind of spreading your feelers out, anchoring in your energy, and then it kind of drops and it manifests. So you get very influenced by a lot of creative, a lot of shadow stuff, a lot of what's going on in the collective consciousness you'll experience on the microcosm internally, however that applies to you, from your, picking from your ancestry, or picking from different levels of the shadow. So like ancestry, what's going on, in your past, your childhood traumas, all of these things will start to come up to the surface when you want to create more broadly. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of energy around the way to like grow something. So Spirit's showing me a plant. Spirit's showing me that like kind of like how a plant grows, you know. If you haven't tried to grow a plant, I would say to start there if you're trying to manifest something in the physical plane. Spiritually bringing something down, so that could be like your higher self, more of your purpose driven stuff. You're wanting to create something beautiful for the collective that's aligned with the divine. You're gonna want to get a plant and kind of watch how you interact with that plant when you're setting the intention to grow the plant or grow something. This is important because this helps us to maintain non-attachment. It helps us to really cultivate before we start growing something or planting seeds. That's a necessary step. Another thing could be that like the time, how do you act when it's taking time to grow something? Are you worrying about it? That's where you can kind of see and track yourself on, and make sure it's a plant you really want to grow. So like that also applies to the creative process. If it's something you're not wanting to grow, you're not going to really care about it, even if it does grow into something. So make sure it's like something that you're interested in when you're growing. Again, coming back to how you're feeling during the process of it growing, you know, we all know plants take time to grow. We know that every plant is different and they need different things, you know. Like, are you getting connected with your plant? How are you connecting with your plant and meeting its needs or listening to it? You know, plants communicate in a very light and simple way, other than other things in the universe. They kind of have a hum when they're talking to you. So like I liken this to like how the best way that I create as a creative is kind of using that same communication connection with plants to kind of grow something in the astral for then it to drop into the 3D. So again, maybe you want to start there and kind of explore that avenue. So I'm gonna try and pull a card. Maybe we can collect some of this energy, see where Spirit wants to take us. Okay, so I'm seeing the shadow deck. So here we have this deck. I'm gonna pull a card. What is kind of the shadow of what we're talking about, something that we're not really seeing, the unconscious version of it. So let's see, we're gonna pull a card. The unconscious. What are we not aware of when we're creating, Spirit, that is affecting our manifestations as we're, ooh, it's coming. Okay. Oh, right out. Ooh, inauthenticity. So we're not being authentic, okay? When you're trying to create something from a place of inauthenticity, you're capping your chi energy. You're not as powerful. You give in to what other people are thinking about you because you're trying to be somebody else. That means you want to be liked by other people. This causes you to like derail your goals because you go off and trying to subconsciously meet other people's expectations of you to be approved of, which is a pitfall because you will leave yourself. You will leave your creations. You won't maintain a sacred space around them. You're not going to be feeling the creation and what it needs because you're going to be feeling other people and what they need in order to people please or maintain this role or vision of them and what they want you to be. Okay, so this is a very powerful thing coming to the surface, but you know about it. So now you're aware of it. So you can like keep a journal. You can write down throughout the day or on your phone, you know, different times that you're seeing yourself, kind of like get familiar with that feeling. The feeling is like you like get nervous and your nervous system could start to get dysregulated and you might be ruminating on what is this other person thinking of me, and then you start seeing yourself change your behavior from that. You just feel different than when you were creating, setting that intention and creating that goal for what you're wanting. Okay, So this goes for when you're working with people. So if you have like a group of people you're working with, like, are your goals shifting? Like, it's not even, but it's like goals shift, but it should be coming from a place of authenticity. Again, with the plant, you're attuned with the plant, you're meeting the need of the plant. You're not like straying from that container to like have have outside plants tell you you're doing it wrong. This is not how you feed a plant. When you feel the plant and you know you're connected to the plant, you don't even hear what other people are saying. You don't hear the other outside sources of information that are, and if you're intuitive, I trust that you know what I'm talking about. You already are familiar with this feeling. You can already kind of tune in the dials to know what I'm talking about and like how that applies to your life and how you're feeling that for yourself. So I'm getting intuitively, like, it's only a matter of time that like you're destined for whatever you're creating. So if you're worried about what I just talked about, you're gonna work through the karmic stuff to like get you there because it's your destiny, it's who you are. So don't be discouraged when like these things happen, you get derailed, because the more you come back to yourself and your authenticity, the more you're working out that muscle, the more your strength that you're maintaining and bringing into your field, which is making your manifestations even that much more powerful and quicker to drop. So it's a win-win. Just journal, keep track. I think that's the biggest thing that I have learned, is like keeping track of what's going on internally. Like, have a book that I'm feeling like the Spirit's saying that you are the type of person that already does this. You like to psychoanalyze yourself. You like to internally look and explore and understand yourself. So this should just be right up your alley already. Make it a note to when you're creating or manifesting something, that you are looking at the internal workings as well, and having a book to kind of keep track, clock yourself. Not clock is not a good word, but like you're like, I'm just seeing kind of like a person who's studying a plant, or a person who has a book and they're like writing down, oh, this plant did better with this sunlight, or something came into the picture and did this and affected the plant this way. So I know these are all plant analogies, but that's what I think I'm gifted at and understanding, or naturally my soul's connected to. So a lot of this stuff, symbolism is going to come through plant stuff, and it's an easy way for spirit to communicate in the creation process, because I think us operating on a dialed down more, like, plants literally are growing, manifesting out of nothing. Of course, that's the best analogy for us manifesting things out of nothing. So, like, it's like you're pulling things out of the astral and they're being created. So, bringing it down to that slower, kind of gentler energy is going to make more compatible manifestations, not only for yourself, but the world at large. Okay, these are going to be more sustainable. They're going to be harmonious and compatible with the world and the way that Earth works. So you're going to be working with the Earth more. So going outside and understanding, like, this goes across the board. But I think that's the message for today. This is my first message. I love it. I think this is great. This is totally up my alley. I love what came through, and I hope you did too. Until next time, thank you.